Alright guys, today we have a new car on the channel, one that you've kind of seen before, but this one is completely new. Now I will say this is not my car, it is a loaner car. However, I figured while we have it, we might as well make a video about it. If you guys are wondering which car it is, a 330i. Again, unlike my 330i, which I used to feature on my channel all the time, this is a 2025 BMW 330i. Mine was an F30, this is a G20 chassis, and it's the LCI as well, so you guys can see it has the nicer headlights, the nicer front bumper. That's like one of the main things about the LCI. The rear end really didn't change all that much. The rear bumper changed a little bit. I'm not crazy about the LCI look. I actually prefer the pre-LCI, but the taillights are the same. Something that did definitely change is the interior. We have the new LCI design, steering wheel, the big screen, and I think otherwise it's pretty much the same. Oh, the ambient lighting changed, which I'm not sure how I feel about, but we're gonna get into all of that. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of this car. So I gotta say guys, although this is a 330i, and I know it's not like a 340 or an M3, which I own, this is one of the nicest spec 330i's I've ever seen. Like if I were to get one myself, this is exactly how I would spec it personally. This thing is skyscraper gray, which is a really nice color. I'm not sure if it really comes off on camera, but it's not a silver, it's not a gray, it's somewhere like in between. It also has the M Sport package, which isn't too common on 330i's. You usually see base model 330i's. Unlike the F30s, the G20s now, once you get an M340i, you get the M Sport package by default. But with the 330i's, it's not a default thing. You do have to spec it out, and the fact that a 330i has it, I think is really cool. It's obviously like an aesthetic thing, but I think you get some suspension upgrades and brake upgrades, because speaking of, we also have the red brake calipers behind these honestly pretty ugly wheels, but let's just ignore the wheels. Overall, this is a really nice spec, nice color, nice brake caliper color, M Sport package, and then my personal favorite, the red interior, which is really, really nice. Unfortunately, you don't get red on the dash, but you do get on the door cards, and it's a full red interior. It's not like my F30 where it was more of like an orangey. This is like a maroony deep red, which again, hopefully the camera can do it justice, but it's a very nice, I would say, mature red. So like I said, if I were to ever get a 330i, this would be exactly how I spec it. I might do black, but the gray is actually easier to maintain, but I definitely would not get these wheels. These wheels are really ugly. They feel like a Honda wheel. I don't know, something really cheap about them. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel or have never seen any of my videos, I currently own that Supra, which is hidden somewhere over there. There it is. I also own a G80 M3, and I own a 2021 X5, a G05. So I own a couple cars, but if I were to get one more car for the channel and also for myself, a car that I think would be just a great, comfortable, daily commuter car, it would be this right over here. This car does everything so well for especially someone who I would consider like a car enthusiast. Now, like I said, I own other cars, and those cars are more fun. I think if you're thinking about getting a 330i, don't expect it to be like the most engaging car to drive, because I've driven this thing a little bit, and yeah, it's a little numb in some places, but it's kind of nice in a way because it's really comfortable. It's really good on gas. It's just a nice car to drive day in and day out. At the same time though, it looks this good. The interior is also really nice. I really like the LCI design on the steering wheels. This one is obviously a 330i, so it has this silver trim. I don't know if you can actually spec these things with like carbon, which my M3 has. It also has the nice wood trim, which is actually a nice change of pace from the carbon in my M3. One thing I really dislike though is this like little nub thing. I know it's practical, it saves space and all that, but it just doesn't feel right from going from like drive to reverse. Like it's just kind of weird. I'm sure maybe if I drive it more, I'd get used to it. But regardless, overall this interior is really nice. You have some like new ambient lighting with the LCI, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And then you also have the BMW iDrive, I think it's 8.1, which from the outside looks like mine and my M3, the 8. But I think software-wise, it's pretty different, and I heard that it's a lot faster and smoother. Now, overall, does this feel like the most sporty interior? No. I mean, I think my M3 is way more sporty feeling, even just like the carbon buckets, but these seats are really nice. The bolsters are pretty loose. I think you can actually tighten them, I think. No, this one doesn't. All right, I take that back. This one does not have adjustable bolsters. That's interesting. So it is pretty loose, like, it doesn't hold you in all that well, but if you are a bigger person, you'll fit in these just fine. So overall, it's really comfortable, it feels really good, it feels luxurious, and it feels sporty enough. Again, I don't think that someone who's getting a 330i should get it with the intention of it being a sports car. Get it as like a sport-oriented commuter car. Now, just driving this thing down, like, it feels pretty smooth. The suspension does feel a little rough at times. Like, it's not as soft and supple as my X5s. So it is a little more on the sporty side. It's not completely just like a Rolls Royce, which, I mean, let's be honest, it wouldn't be. So I think it strikes like a nice balance between comfort and sport. Like, it feels really nice. The steering feels numb. I mean, but that's the case with like a lot of newer cars. You just don't get that, like, you know, heavy feedback in the steering anymore. They're all electronically assisted. Let's gun it a little bit over here. It's got some pickup. I will say that was in comfort mode, so obviously that means you're not gonna have full power, you're not gonna have full throttle response. I'm going to put it into sport and see if that makes it, oh, I feel a difference already. Not that much faster, but it is a little more on the throttle. Like, you get a better throttle response. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The car sounds like nothing. Like, I hear the intake and the turbo spool a little bit, but this exhaust is really muffled. Also, I apologize if it's really dark in here. It's getting a little dark outside. So yeah, sound-wise, doesn't sound the best. But again, you don't buy these cars for that reason, and that is something you can resolve if you really want to get this car, but you're like, yeah, I just want a little more sound. A decent exhaust, a muffler delete, a resonator delete, a catless downpipe, any of those things can make this car sound better. I have heard B48 engines sound pretty good, and in terms of power, yes, I'm sure you can tune it and get more power out of it, but you know, I don't think you should even bother. Take this car for what it is, a nice, sporty, luxurious commuter car, and if you focus on that, it does it very well. Something I will say, gas mileage, although I was kind of ruining it with that drive there, gas mileage on this thing is really nice. I kind of forgot what it's like to have an eco mode on a car since I'm used to my M3, my Super now, which don't, but it basically numbs the car even more. So this thing, it's really hard to like consume gas like that. Like, your throttle is really numb, so your kind of start and stops are very smooth, consuming less gas. You can actually coast while driving. By the way, look at this idiot. Bro, what are you doing? All right, so yeah, point is, it's really good on gas, which again, for a car like this, that's what you care about. Gas mileage, economy, comfort, things like that. But again, to me, this feels like a nice place to be in. Just driving this car, I feel really good. As a car enthusiast, as someone who likes cars, I don't feel like ashamed to be in this car, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I can't drive a car that I don't feel like is just completely non-sporty. Like, even if I had to, I don't know if I can get like a Prius or something like that. Even though they're good for what they are, but if I wanted a daily driver, I feel like I would still have to get something that's slightly on the sportier side, which I think this car does very well. So I know lighting in here isn't the best, so let's just step out and continue this conversation. But yeah, guys, overall, this is a really nice car, a really nice place to be. I mean, just look at this thing. It feels very executive too, which is nice. So it kind of has like a professional vibe to it. If you guys work in like a professional environment, I'm just not crazy about those wheels. My eyes keep on going to those things. They're really ugly. Overall, for me, if I were to buy this car, which I really would consider once they depreciate in value, because new, I don't think I can do it, but once they depreciate, I would definitely get a car like this, and I wouldn't do much to it. Like, I'd probably lower it, because right now, it feels like a monster truck, which I get for like a daily driver aspect is probably better. However, in my mind, I at least want my car to look a little cooler, so I would definitely lower it, put on some like wheel spacers, and then at that point, I think this thing would just have a much nicer stance. But overall, guys, like, it looks amazing. Like, I really want to do much to it. I want to even do a front lip or any M-style mirror caps. I would just do a better stance, better wheels, and then that's it. Look at that guy. All right, he's got a good taste. But yeah, guys, I think this is probably one of the best options out there for a nice, like, luxury, sporty daily driver. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it one more time. This is not the car that you would get and modify. Yes, you can do it, and yes, I have done it with my F30-330i, but I don't know, man. I feel like for the money, you can just go get like an F30 B58, or even get like a pre-LCI M340 for the same money, and you'd get something a lot more sporty. However, if you don't care about the sporty aspect, if you really just want something that's good on gas, that's comfortable, that's luxurious, that does all those things very well, and that's very modern too, because this thing does feel more modern than the pre-LCIs for the interior and then even the exterior design, then I think this is a great option. All I'm saying is don't get this and spend this much money on a car for the sake of modifying it and having a funner car. There's funner cars out there for less money. Just giving you my advice from someone who's done it themselves. I did it for content and it benefited me, but if you're just doing it for yourself, I just can't recommend it. Now, will I actually get one personally for myself? I don't know. Like I was kind of alluding to, I would not spend this much money on one. I don't see the value for $50,000 personally, but once these things depreciate to like 25 or so, I would consider it. But regardless, I figured while I have this car for pure nostalgia, I'd make a video about it. And then also, it's just a really cool spec, man. Like the fact that it's skyscraper gray, red brake calipers, and then red interior. If you guys didn't know, my F30 was actually black sapphire metallic with red interior. And I haven't owned red interior since then, and I kind of miss it. This one's definitely a little more boring and mature, but it's still really nice. And if I were to spec one out, I would do it exactly like this. Either skyscraper gray or black. I do really like black cars. If you guys enjoy 330i's and the B48, I'll leave a playlist to my videos that I did about my car. But anyways, with that said, this video is pretty much done, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.